Morning, everyone. So my presentation today is on the exploitation of animal resources at Evelyn, a 12th to 13th century AD homestead on the Mapungubwe landscape. Evelyn is a small agropastoral community situated in the Limpopo Valley region in South Africa. The period during which the site was occupied is locally referred to as the Middle Iron Age. This period is important to archaeologists as it saw the development and expansion of complex communities. Important regional centers at this time included K2 and Mapungubwe, where we see the intensification of livestock production and a limited use of wild animal resources. This is a significant change from earlier settlements, where wild animals played an important subsistence role. As such, this study explored animal exploitation at Evelyn to better gauge if the intensification of livestock production seen at regional centers were reflective of smaller homesteads on their socio-political peripheries. A variety of animal taxa were identified at Evelyn. Livestock, however, were less numerous, but included cattle, sheep, and goats. No other domestic taxa were identified, although chicken and dogs are known from contemporary settlements in the region. Wild animals were more numerous, representing a significant portion of the faunal assemblage. Here, 45 taxa are present, consisting of various mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and mollusks. In terms of livestock production, there is a particular emphasis on the herding of small stock, which outnumbered cattle 3 to 1. Sheep were more numerous than goats, but only slightly, as their proportions were very nearly even. In terms of age at death, both sheep, goats, and cattle profiles indicate the predominance of reproductive animals, with lower numbers of pre- and post-reproductive individuals. Small stock under 10 months and cattle under 8 months were few, suggesting most individuals were left to mature and gain weight. Small stock are more evenly distributed within the reproductive age classes, suggesting both early and late culling strategies, whereas most of the cattle were adults older than 42 months. Nevertheless, herd management therefore drew heavily on animals capable of breeding. In terms of the wild animals present, birds and their eggshells were never numerous. Most of the identified taxa consisted of ground-dwelling birds such as guinea fowl, spurfowl, francolin, and quail. Considering their low numbers, birds were likely opportunistically obtained. Ostrich eggshell was also present, but identifying the nature of the exploitation is difficult. They are well known from Iron Age settlements as a craft material for the manufacture of beads. It is thus difficult to determine if unhatched eggs were collected as a food source or if they were collected after they hatched for crafting materials. Nevertheless, ostrich eggshells were not numerous, nor were the beads manufactured from their shells. So if they were consumed, they would have probably represented an opportunistic meal. Reptile remains were common, but had few species identifications, limiting discussions on their diversity. The bulk of the reptile remains consisted of tortoises and monitor lizards, suggesting these two groups were regularly exploited. The remainder of the reptiles consisted of various indeterminate snakes and small skink-sized lizards. Although these may be later intrusions, particularly the small skinks, snakes could also have been killed in defense of human life or to acquire their skins and meat. Mollusks were numerous, but less diverse. Most of the identified taxa consisted of very small intrusive species, and the bulk of the mollusks consisted of large African land snails and to a lesser extent freshwater mussel. Understanding the nature of mollusks exploitation is also difficult. The shells of African land snails and freshwater mussels were used to manufacture beads during the Iron Age. At Evelyn, however, few land snail beads were present, while no mussel shell beads were identified. Alternatively, several complete land snails with a perforation on the body was also present at Evelyn. There are similar examples from various recent African communities where the snail meat is extracted by using such a perforation to break the vacuum inside the shell. Similar complete shells are also known from other Middle Iron Age sites, but a systematic study on the purpose of this perforation is lacking. Their presence nevertheless suggests that some African land snails were potentially collected alive and consumed, while some of their shells were also used to manufacture beads. Mammals were the most numerous and diverse group, with various bovids, suids, zebra, and small mammal identifications. Suids were not numerous, but two species are present, the common warthog and the bush pig. Both of these species are well-known agricultural pests, and their presence may well have stemmed from the protection of agricultural lands. Of note are the wild bovids, which were both numerous and diverse, with various small, medium, and large species present. The taxa identified encompass a variety of environments, from woodlands to open grasslands and rocky terrains, suggesting hunters took advantage of a wide range of habitats. Of the various bovids present, medium bovids dominate, of which impala was the most abundant. This species is gregarious by nature and congregates in large groups in woodland areas. Although diverse, most of the large and very large bovid species were identified from few skeletal remains, suggesting opportunistic hunts targeting single individuals. The plain zebra was also regularly targeted. This species occur in open grasslands, and their large numbers similarly suggest that hunters at Evelyn exploited a variety of habitats. Both impala and zebra are water dependent and would have made an easy target when congregating around water sources. Their social nature would therefore have facilitated communal hunting techniques where single or multiple individuals could be targeted. Small mammals were also numerous and included various hares, hyraxes, porcupines, and various rodents. Although a wide variety of animals are present, hares and spring hares were the most numerous. Both taxa are nocturnal, and they could have been snared during the night or manually removed from their burrows during the day. Hyraxes and other small rodents such as squirrels, gerbils, rats, and mice occur in smaller numbers, but highlight the diversity of small mammals present. After a consideration of the taxa identified, those considered food sources were grouped based on the potential strategies involved in their procurement. The numerous small animals such as hares, rodents, birds, eggshells, mollusks, and reptiles indicate that snaring and gathering activities were important. Here, the diversity of species suggests flexibility and opportunistic snaring and trapping activities. Bovids and zebra nevertheless supplied the bulk of the animal protein obtained. Here, the hunting of gregarious and solitary wild species indicate both planned and opportune strategies, while the range of habitats targeted shows a flexible approach to hunting. The procurement of wild animals were therefore diverse, where some strategies drew heavily on communal participation, while others required individual input. Livestock were also an important resource, where management strategies were geared towards maximum meat production and herd growth. Herd diversity was also key here, as sheep and goats reproduce faster, are in less competition with wildlife, and are more tolerant of environmental instabilities. Overall, the animal procurement at Evelyn is reflective of a strategy based on diversity, where the exploitation of wild animals and the utilization of livestock offered multiple resource avenues. The intensification of livestock thus seen at large regional centers is therefore not present at Evelyn, where instead the community continued flexible resource procurement as risk management strategy in a semi-arid environment. Thank you.